Okay, everyone, can I have your attention, please? There's no internet, so if you keep working, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay?
Oh, really?
Just as a warning.
I got all mine but one.
Okay, good. So all you needed was 700 points. Don't feel bad.
700.
Because I lowered it.
You lowered the bar.
Okay. So today. Okay. Well, let's talk about it at break. Because we've got 20 minutes to break.
Come on, let's rock and roll. Let's get this done.
Did you get dead, Mo?
Scott.
I thought we were leaving.
No.
Oh.
See, you were thinking about other things. You weren't paying attention.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So, you know, part of life is things don't go as planned. In fact, what's one of the principles of life? No plan. No plan what?
Because
No plan what?
you plan to fail because you failed to plan.
No plan what? No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Oh,
No
yeah, that's
plan
right.
survives
Okay.
contact with the enemy.
Now, what would Marcus Aurelius say about brain rush issues that we've had with brain rush today?
Just keep going.
Don't get upset about things you can't control. Okay? When you hear Scott in the background yelling, increasing the frustration level, ignore it. Okay? Ignore it. That's part of.
Okay,
That
no
is part of
plan
how.
to what?
Never mind.
I'm going to put it in my important part.
See,
I want to put in my important thought.
here's the issue with you, Scott. You're talking and you're thinking. You're not listening.
Okay.
Then we have to stop because you didn't pay attention.
All right.
That's what we need you to focus on.
All right. I'm sorry.
Okay? Well, you don't need to be sorry. This is about the future, not the past.
All right.
Focus on what's happening in the now.
Okay.
One
I
more
wanted
time.
to write down their important thoughts.
See, now you're talking about the
Okay.
past again.
All right. Good.
That's gone. It's over. What did Bill Clinton say? That's over. That's behind us.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Right. So, so the key thing is, from Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism is don't get upset about things you can't control. In fact, he would say, don't even remark about it. Don't show your frustration. Just let it go. You know, when I'm doing this Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga at night, they're always telling you no emotion is the best emotion. Don't put energy into it. Yes, it's hard, it's hot, it's 105 degrees, 48% humidity in this room. You're losing 3 pounds in 90 minutes. Sweat. And the best expression is no expression. Don't draw attention to yourself in a negative way. In the workplace, that doesn't do you good. Okay? So today was a frustrating thing with brain rush, but on the other hand, we can take it as a learning exercise. Okay? And everybody got an extra 100 points, so it's all going to work out at the end, unless you keep carrying it around of how screwed up it was. Okay? It's over. We move on. Now, today we have Moe Bedard is back. He is our instructor. Let's see, who's been here when Mo was here before? Rob, you were here, right?
I met him at the court.
Trevon was here many times when Mo would come in every week. Unfortunately, we don't have the Moe Bedard stool. We have the old stool for Mo to work on, and he did not bring his guitar. But sorry, we're going to turn it over to Mo, and you'll be seeing him more on Friday. Hopefully.
What do you do with this thing? I'm gonna stand right here.
Okay.
I got it, Director.
Let's move this over here.
Don't put that in my face. I'm not taking any pictures of me, Angel.
These are not pictures.
Control, Alt, frickin' delete.
You got it right on.
He's doing it. I don't authorize you to do that.
We're not. Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How you doing?
My name is Moe Bedard. I was involved yesterday. I've been involved with this thing since this. What you're doing right here is if I knew you better, I'd say a wet dream. I'll say an erotic dream. We were in a car talking about this years ago, Ed and I, And I decided to jump on board. You're just dealing with some frustration. You don't know the frustration I deal with what I do with the school and some of the things I've got to put up with. But we'll talk a little bit about that. For those that don't know me, I'm a retired Air Force pilot. That's what I did. Own a few businesses in my life. I work at the Win. I'm retired. I work at the Win, and I'm in security. That's what I do. I hang out there and deal with drunks and all the rest of the stuff. It's been totally fascinating. We moved here 15 years ago. I have a son who's a firefighter here. I got a couple grandkids. My background is in education, promoting, and being involved with putting on events and different things. I've owned several businesses. Some have been successful, some have not. And for those in the peanut gallery over here, I have spent some time in jail, but it was in a small. And that's another story we can. Huh?
One day.
Yeah, but you know that you can't really say you can't say really one day, because I tell you, let me summarize it. I was in a dry county in Alabama going to college, and you'll never believe this, but in college we drank beer, and so we were in a dry county and got pulled over, and next thing you know, boom, we were. It's a long story, but I spent the night in his jail. If you've ever been in a Alabama, small town Alabama jail that's been there for 150 years, Casa Grande's probably looks like a freaking Hilton. I mean, it was terrible. And several years later, I know how you guys are dealing with frustrations about what you're doing and what your future is. I can relate somewhat, because when I went to get in the Air Force, I'm a Vietnam vet era. And I got this, I was teaching college and teaching high school in Little Town, Alabama, and I got this letter one day said, "Greetings from the President. You're now in the Army." I said, "Oh, well, crap." So I took this letter down to the Air Force recruiter, and unfortunately, God was shining on me. There weren't a whole lot of college graduates in this little town, and this Dave Moyers, Master Sergeant Dave Moyers, said, "Hey, give me that letter. You are mine." And I got into the Air Force, and I passed the test, and ended up flying and did a career. And that's how this worked. But when he sent the thing in originally, they said rejected. What the heck? Fortunately, I had an uncle who was in the Air Force. He called a buddy of his and says, "I was because of the night you spent in jail, because I was honest. I had to put down there on the bottom, have you ever been convicted of a fine of more than 25 or 50 bucks? Well, I got me out of jail by pleading guilty and public drunkenness and disturbing the peace. Each one carried a fine of 25 bucks. You believe how I'm dating myself? You see how big the crap was back then, right? So if there's 50 bucks, so they just went, well, not taking him in the Air Force because he's convicted of a fine for more than $50. So my uncle said, this is what it was, and they said, okay, and they rejected. He said, okay, took back the rejection, off he went. So talk about frustration. So I know a little bit. I know a little about what you're dealing with and what your frustrations are. I share them more than you think, because my job here is I'm technically the marketing director for marketing and special projects. Tell you how Ed and I met. I had an opportunity to buy a motorcycle magazine. It was interesting. I'm the type of guy that's a little bit impetuous. If something needs to be done, I'm ready to get in there and get it done. So I got a motorcycle magazine. It was fairly cheap. I got into it, and we ended up having 10,000 copies a month that we were distributing between here and Reno. And I actually had offices in Reno. It just went whoosh. I wish I'd had you guys here when I was doing that, because I was just totally overwhelmed. I just didn't realize it, and I wasn't able to let it go to somebody else. I was working at the Win between 12 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd get home, kiss the wife, and then I was hitting it on the streets, selling. You have to fill those pages up with advertisement, and you got to sell it, and then people don't pay their money, and you got to write the articles, and it was intense. My first business like that, and I'd never been a publisher before, so I did it for a year. Really fun. I got to meet Mayor Oscar Goodman, and that came up, something happened because of that involves you. But Mayor Oscar Goodman, I called him up and I said, first of all, people tell you, you can't do that. I said, oh, okay, I can't get Oscar Goodman to be on the front cover of my magazine. He said, no, you can't do that. He'll never agree to it. So I said, okay. And with you, I pick up the phone and I call Oscar Goodman's office and I got a hold of his executive assistant guy and I said, hey, this is Moe. I own Thunder Roads of Nevada magazine. He goes, yes. I said, I'd like Oscar Goodman to be on the front cover with Miss October. And he goes, hang on a second. I swear it was 2 minutes. He says, when and where? I said, this is cool. So I can bring you in. I'll show you. I got some allergies going on here. So I brought him down, and there was Miss October. We put on a great big chopper, and he gave him a martini glass, and he's on the front cover of my magazine. Everybody said, oh, my God. So I did that. Then somebody said something about I wanted to do something for military folks, and this story ties into why Ed and I met. My goal is to help military wives, spouses of military people, and I'll tell you about that. But I wanted to get a well-known personality involved in this whole thing, so I thought, well, I'll call Wayne Newton, see if I can get him on the front cover of my magazine. No way you're going to get that done. So I said, all right, hey Wayne, I would like to be on the front cover. A whole bunch of military people just came back from Afghanistan. Well, I'll show you the magazine cover. Not only did we do that, we went out to his ranch, and my kids got to sit on his horse, and his horse licked me in the face. And it was quite a fun deal. Reason I was out there with him is, and I'm going to get around to where we're at here. The reason I went out to see him is because when I was in the Air Force, I flew the big cargo jets, and one of our things was medevac. How many been in the military? Anybody? Okay, what you see on the 8 o'clock news is grandma and the wife and the 2 little kids waving flags as the military guys get off the airplane. And it brings tears to your eyes, and isn't that cool? And the mom's crying, everybody's crying, and the guy gets off and he's stiff starch BBUs, and he gets his shoes are shining, and he gets in there, and wow, that's pretty cool. Back up. Back up. We have people on that airplane. They don't have legs. They don't have legs. They don't have they don't have a face. So I've seen that. Okay, so take this forward to this guy's home, and you've got a wife who has basically no education. Let's say an Army wife, basically out of high school, has no education, maybe black, green, pink, Asian. That doesn't make any difference. They don't have a job. They got 2 kids. One's 5, one's 3, and here comes the breadwinner home. Can you imagine the scene in the living room where the kid's looking at who this guy, he didn't really know him. He's been gone for a year, and there he sits with a half a face is burnt, no ear, and no leg. There's a whole lot of crap going on here that no one ever sees, nothing ever, you just never see it. No one's really doing anything about that. You're probably as well as aware as I am that the procedure for taking care of military folks is to give them a whole lot of medication and send them on their way. The VA's woefully behind trying to help these guys. You think you've got frustrations? Could you imagine the frustration we're dealing with there? Where the guy's got to support his family. He's a hero. Now he's not half a leg. And he's a military guy who got out of high school, went into the military, and he's been loading mortar shells into a mortar gun. And he's doing that for 6 years, and then his leg gets blown off, and he can't be in the Army anymore. So what's he going to do? And I thought it would be pretty cool if you sat right here. Because here's my philosophy about what you're doing. I wasn't planning on this speech this morning, so I'm speaking at you from the heart without notes, okay?
7 minutes.
7 minutes, you got it. My thought is this, and we were successful pitching this speech yesterday at the commission meeting. We are on a frickin' roll here. The possibilities of things happening. A good friend of mine, Sean Elders, I'm trying to get him on board here. World-class bagpipe player, by the way. So,
Really?
so yeah. So he's on the spot now. I brought the guitar in one day. He'll bring his bagpipe. We're gonna make that happen. Been to Scotland, everywhere. He's got a good story to tell. So we're bringing people on board to help you. Here's my thought. You've got face. You've got legs. You've got a brain. You lack skills in computers. You've got minor issues compared to that guy sitting on the pity couch with no face. You got minor issues. We're going to bring them in here. That's where I'm going with this. We're going to bring the military side in. We're going to get some people. We're going to expand. We're going to get into a double wide. We're going to expanding this thing. We're now able to get funding. We're going to get more instructors. This whole thing's cranking. You're having a job fair on Wednesday. Our concept when we were driving around in a car was that we could get when we were looking at that building across the street, we're going to put a pipe thing in there, and it's just all kinds of things, projects. So Ed says to me, hey, let's build things for these guys to do. Well, we don't give a hoot if you're a felon or you're homeless. I don't care what you are. If you can do what you're doing right here, you are so far ahead of me. I published a magazine. I got a master's degree, and you think I'm bullshitting right now. You're so far ahead of me as far as your computer skills. Even though you're still, I use the Christopher Columbus method. I published a magazine, Hunting and Pecking and Discovering It and Landing on it. The Christopher Columbus method. You're so far ahead of me in Googling. I get things from some of the people that are here, and I get the Google Plus thing. I don't even know what to do with it. So, congratulations to where you are. Congratulations to the commander for getting us to where we're at. The dream in that car going to and from California when I first got involved in this is now realized right here. We were part of this before this building was even here. You don't realize the effort that's being put into it. My job is to market. My job is to sell people on you that don't worry about the felon part, don't worry about the homeless part, don't worry about the lack of education part. You tell us what you want, Ed's going to bring it up so you guys can make it happen. You've got to stay focused, because when I go out and I tell somebody, hey, this is really cool, you ought to come over and see it. We got our point now where we're going to bring the job fair people over here, so they're going to see it locally. I discovered they have a magazine for the downtown project. I'm going to take my skills, put it into that magazine, we're going to get an article. Pretty soon it's going to start flipping and turning, and you guys are going to have some opportunities. But I can set the football team up all day long, the game up. If you're not ready to play, then it's not going to work. So it's up to you guys to make it happen and do your part. We're doing our part. You can't see it all the time. I work at the Wynn. My only day off is Friday. That's why I haven't been here for a while. I get grandkids, and they want to see Grandpa every once in a while. I guarantee you, we're out there talking and pitching the school and you. And by the way, I get paid $0 for this. I want you to know that I'm dedicated to this. I don't spend full time at it, but I don't get paid for this. I don't accept salary. That's what we're doing. Okay? So congratulations, everybody. Okay?
Now, if you go on, you can't do it right now, but if you go on the internet, you go on the internet, Moe Bedard on YouTube. Moe Bedard has some videos.
M-O-E-B-E-A-R-D. Moe Bedard.
Right, you can see Moe playing his guitar. Yeah, let's take our break, and then we're going to come back and do our next exam, our quiz, our weekly quiz, which is our word quiz.
On Google Forms.